Hey, hey, how is everyone today? It's Dawn, and I am still waiting for the rain to stop here in California. This was supposed to be the sunshine state, wasn't it? I just wanted to hop on here and talk to you a little bit this morning. It has been a fun couple days, a meeting and catching up with a lot of old friends and a lot of new friends, actually. It was one of the things that I planned every single time I take a trip. It's to be very intentional about the relationships that I continue to foster and the relationships I continue to build. And a lot of that has to do with personal growth. And so that's what I'm going to be talking to you about over the next couple weeks here. And I am praying that we have some kind of reception out there. Looks as if we do. So let's talk about personal growth. I captioned this one as talent is never enough. And when I think about personal growth, I think about one, all of the things that I'm doing to grow myself, and two, all of the things that I'm doing to help grow others. Those others being either my clients, my business partners, members of my team, my coaching clients. So one, I'm focusing on personal growth. Two, focusing on the growth of other people. So if you are watching this on the replay, just mark #replay. I'm going to be doing that infamous drawing over the next couple days and giving away some goodies. So I want to make sure that I capture all your names and we can get everybody in that drawing. So let's talk about this for a moment, because a lot of times people just they want to change. They want to change something in their life. They want to change their finances. They want to change their relationships. They want to change their business. They want to change their social status. Single people, they're dating and want to be married. We have marriages that, you're looking for change in, you're looking for growth in, but a lot of times people want change, right? But when it comes down to it, they want their circumstances improved. They want a different, just a different outcome than what they're seeing. But so often than not, people are unwilling to change themselves. And this is where people get stuck. This is where people are bound to their circumstances. They're bound to the outcome of what has happened in their lives. Let me know if you're there, if you're getting this feed. I just wanted to say hi to a few friends. So what are plans for personal growth? What are plans? So this starts with you. A lot of times we're looking at the other person, right? We're looking at business partners. We're looking at colleagues. We're looking at our spouse. And we're wanting them to change. And more often than not, we're not willing to do the work to necessarily change ourselves. And we get stuck. There's a lot of reasons why we get stuck. I'm going to talk to you about those for just a moment. But if this is resonating with you, I want you to think about like one area of your life where you feel that you need the most growth. Is it your finances? Is it your marriage or your relationships? Is it your business? Because what many people don't realize is that often every single aspect of your life is affecting every other aspect of your life. So if you have, again, I use this analogy of a wheel, right? So if you have a wheel and it has 8 spokes on it, and on a scale of 1 to 10, you were to measure all of these different facets of your life, right? Your faith, your fitness, your relationships, your finances, your business. Where are you on that scale of 1 to 10? And a lot of times our wheel is really wonky and it's not rolling quite well. And we have to kind of go back and reevaluate. So what are some of the things that happen? Well, one, we make assumptions that we're going to grow. We make assumptions that things are just going to work themselves out. Or if, a lot of times people don't want to address situations. They don't want to engage in conversations. A lot of times people just kind of sit back and they let status quo happen. They make an assumption that things will they'll either get better or they can't get any worse, right? And it's one of those things, again, that leads us to staying stuck in our circumstances and prevents us from being able to move forward. There is a timing assumption. I see this one happen a lot of times where people feel that the timing's just not right. And I had a great conversation with a dear colleague yesterday, and one of the things we talked about is when people make this assumption that the timing's not right. Like, I'm not going to do it now because I'm waiting for this. So if this happens, then I'll do that. Or if this, then. And it's such a place of staying stuck, because more often than not, there's going to be other circumstances or other things that are going to happen in our life that are going to prevent us from moving forward. So there's the timing piece of it. And you can I think about this in so many circumstances. I think about this with regards to finances. If I get the better job, then I can start tackling the debt. I think about this when it comes to relationships. Well, if he does this, then I can do that. Or if he changes this, then I won't be so annoyed or so resentful. And so you see this, if that happens, then I'll do this. Or if they go to the gym with me, then I'll go, or I'll make the decision to make better decisions. I had another conversation over the past couple of days, and it was, well, if they would just be on plan with me, if they would just be on board with me, then we could eat better meals. Then I could make different dinners. Then I could. And if you're constantly waiting for somebody else, you'll never personally move forward. Remember, the two keys here are: one, what am I doing to grow myself? And two, what am I doing to grow others? But it has to start within. So what is your plan? What is your day-to-day plan? So in the area that you're thinking that you have or want change, right? Is it your fitness? Is it your nutrition? Is it your health and wellness? Is it your business? Is it your marriage? Where are the areas that you feel that you want or need the most change? And what's your growth plan? And a lot of times people just get stunned by that question. They get stunned by, what steps are they taking? What am I doing? How am I growing? And they don't know. They get paralyzed. It's that knowledge paradigm where people feel like, I don't know what to do. So they feel that they're not equipped, or they don't have the skills, they don't have the tools, they don't know what to do, so they're grasping for straws. I see it happen time and time again when it comes to nutrition. You're trying the next fad diet. You're trying this just because everybody else seems to be. Guess what, guys? All they do is take other diets, and I'm not going to say any because I know there's a lot of people that have very strong convictions to what they're doing, but they've just renamed a diet that was popular maybe 20 or 30 years ago. The reality is, what are you doing for your long-term success to put yourself in a position where you never have to diet again? What are you doing to understand and educate yourself on how the body really works and how the body truly fuels in order to get you to the results that you want? What is your long-term plan? What are the steps you're taking? Because guess what? If all you do is diet, you're going to continually slow down the metabolism. What are the steps that you're doing to pay off debt? I love Dave Ramsey, and I'm just going to throw that out there because I've used his protocol at times in my life when I've gone through hiccups and I went through changes where I needed to get in alignment again with basic principles, right? Tithing, saving, and where I'm spending. And so what does your debt snowball look like? What does your marriage plan look like? Are you going and investing in conferences once a year, enrichment conferences to enrich your marriage, right? Are you attending church groups? Are you making sure, one of the things, and I'll just share a few things that we do, and Larry and I, we attended an event called Fight Night. It was learning how to fight fair that our church offered. We also try to once a quarter. And guys, this is not something that I randomly came up with. This is not something that I just pulled out of the air. This was, what does our growth plan look like for our marriage? What does our growth plan look like for our future? And granted, it takes time, it takes negotiation, it takes work. What is our growth plan for our business is the next one. But let me just talk about the marriage growth plan for just a moment. Because one of the things that we made a commitment to do was once a quarter, take a weekend away try to unplug as much as possible and just get away from business, get away from the kids, get away from obligations, get away from work, get away from screens. So what are you doing to deliberately unplug from the world and plug into your marriage? We attend an event. We did an event at church, that fight night I was telling you about. So we try to make sure that once a year we're dialing in and doing something that invests in us. What are some other things that we're doing? Date nights are important. Making sure the cell phone is put away. We're constantly dialed in and plugged in, and that's hard. It really is hard sometimes. So what can you be doing in your business to create a growth plan? Remember, the growth plan is not only for you, but it's for the people that you work with too. So what are some of the things that you could be doing to develop a growth plan? I know when I take a trip, I have very deliberate goals about how many new people I'd like to meet. You know, just friendships, just new relationships, new acquaintances. How I have an intention about how many clients and customers I'd like to connect with, how many friends I'd like to dial in, and how many coffee appointments I want to have per week. And it's just with the intention of being out there and, one, creating and cultivating relationships. Creating and cultivating relationships is the most important thing that you can do in this growth plan. 2, networking. You can't do much networking sitting at home behind screen time, guys. It's just not going to happen. So if you want to change your circumstances, if you want to have visible changes in your business, in your marriage, in the relationships you have with other people, you have to be very deliberate and intentional about what you're doing to cultivate that, right? So in business, you know, a lot of people step into the space that I'm in with great intentions, great vision, great just motivation, and then something happens, right? They become less inspired. And I see it happen all the time. They're looking for outside stimulus. They're looking for other people to inspire them. They're looking for other people to help move them again. Guys, that has to come from within. Your desire, your want, your need has to stir something so deep within you that it has to stimulate you to action. What happens a lot of times is we have, and I'm just going to use this analogy, the whiners and the winners, right? The whiners are the individuals that wait to feel something before they step into action. They wait to feel good, or they wait to feel confident, or they wait to feel like moved by something. They're looking for some kind of emotional stimulus to move them into action. Okay, and then you have the winners. The winners are the people that know if I step into action, there's going to be something good that's going to evolve from this. They know that the emotion is on the cusp of having done the action. You're going to feel confident, you're going to feel good, you're going to feel proud, you're going to feel excited, you're going to step into momentum, but it doesn't happen until the action happens first. So if you're that type of person that's sitting there waiting to feel good before you do any kind of action, or you're waiting for that if-then concept, if they do this, then I'll do that. You have to take charge. You have to take the lead here. You have to design the plan here, because nobody else is gonna. I want to honestly ask you right now, if you have a growth plan in any area where you feel that you need the most change in your life, if you have a growth plan in business, say, raise your hand, say I, because there's so many people here that don't have a plan. There's so many people that, are held back. I want to talk to you for just a moment about this mistake gap. We a lot of times don't move forward because we're afraid of making mistakes. Hey, Roseanne. Hey, Linda. Hey, how are you guys? I see you coming in and popping in and saying hi. I apologize, I don't have my eye on the screen. But just know that I'm loving you, and I hope this is pouring out and into you, and you're walking away with something. So the mistake gap. I am a perfectionist, and I'm a self-proclaimed and healing perfectionist, but I was always afraid to make a move. I was always afraid to do something until I felt that I had it perfected, until I felt that it was flawless. And one of the things that this live is helping me do is to just get out there and pour. And pour what is within me, pour what I know. If it doesn't come out, and I've walked away several times going, oh gosh, I wish I would have said that, or oh gosh, I would have said this. But the reality is whatever I've said is what was supposed to have been heard. And I have to trust that. I have to trust that from above. That whatever comes out of my mouth, past my lips, whatever you're hearing is what was intended to be heard. So if you're the type of person that's sitting back and you don't like to make mistakes, I want you to think for a moment and share it if you're so inclined to. If you could do something, I want you to make a list of all of the things that you would absolutely do in this lifetime if you knew you could not fail. What would you do? Like, make the list. If you absolutely knew that beyond a shadow of a doubt that you couldn't fail, what are the things that you would do? Guess what? It's not your lack of knowledge holding you back. It's not your lack of desire or intent or vision. I can guarantee you that every single thing on that list, you're being held back by fear. You're being held back by the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure, the fear of making a mistake, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of not having enough confidence, right? So I want you to make that list. What would you do if you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that you would not fail? And it's time to create a plan. It's time to step forward. It's time to move into a place of action. Don't wait for that emotion to happen before you move into action, guys. It doesn't work that way. We're going to constantly stay stuck where we're at in complacency if we don't take charge, if we don't start to grow. And it starts with baby steps. I had a conversation yesterday and I said, listen, it's not about going from here to 100% tomorrow. It's not even about going from here to 50% tomorrow. It's about starting right here, right now, and going, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to do 1% better than I did today. I don't care if it's your nutrition, if it's your fitness, if it's your finances, if it's your marriage, if it's your business. Whatever it is, pick that one spot that you want to make a difference, because there's a snowball effect that happens in this wheel. And the snowball effect is the decision that I make today to do 1% tomorrow. Let's just say it's in my health and wellness journey. Let's just say it's in my finances. Okay? If I sit down today and do 1% better than I did yesterday, and then guess what? My goal tomorrow is to do another % better. There's a culmination effect here. There's a snowball effect here, guys. But it's not about going from where you're at today to trying to do 100% better tomorrow, because all you're going to do is set yourself up for failure. So I want you to really hone in on that one area where you feel like, you know what? This is the area I need to grow. This is the area where I can use the greatest sense of accountability. I have two coaches, guys, two business coaches. One that I personally mentor with, okay? And I am very strategic about when I work with her. I have another one that I work with him on the business side, in my business with my organization. I don't set myself up for failure and thinking that I can handle it all myself. Every coach needs a good coach. So if you're a coach watching this, who's the coach? Who's the mentor? Who's the person that's going to help you to drive you to success? Because here's what you need to understand, each and every one of you on this call, is that you already have the answers. When I work with my coaching clients, I don't have the answers. I don't pretend to have the answers. I know the answers exist within them. My strength is in helping them to identify what they're not seeing, what they're not willing to say out loud, what they're not willing to verbalize. It's about pulling the answers out of the individual, because the individual already has the answers. You already know what you would do if you knew you wouldn't fail. You already know what the area is that you want to work in, that you want to develop, that you want to change, that you want to grow in. And all you need is the set of tools to do it. All you need is the plan. All you need to do is 1% better today than you did yesterday. And then, you know what? Tomorrow you set another goal. Say, you know what? I could do this better tomorrow. And you keep striving for 1% better every single day. So I want you to think about that. the longer you wait to do something that you should be doing, the greater the likelihood is that you'll never do it. So if all you had was today to make that decision to do 1% better, I'm challenging you, make that list of all the things that you would do, you would accomplish if you knew you could not fail. Hone in on that one area that you know you need to grow. And I want you to focus on what you can be doing for personal self-growth and what you can be doing to help grow other people. I have some business partners a lot of times that feel like, oh my gosh, I digressed on my plan, or I digressed on my own personal journey. I'm not equipped to help other people, and that it couldn't be furthest from the truth. What I really want individuals to learn along the way is by coming alongside other people, by creating accountability, by cultivating a mentoring relationship. It holds you to a greater sense of accountability. It holds you to a greater sense of staying on plan. It holds you to a greater sense of responsibility to your own personal growth plan. So if there's anything that you walk away with, it's a matter of knowing that you have what it takes. You absolutely know the answers. The answers lie within you. All you need are the tools and the plan to put it into action. And if you need help with that plan, you're surrounded by amazing, brilliant individuals that are more than happy to help you create that plan. But the first step is you making a decision and being intentional, being deliberately intentional to make the change. Because if you keep putting it off, okay, the greater the likelihood is you'll never do it. So make the list of all the things that you would do if failure was not an option. And now we start with a plan. So I talked to you a little bit about what Larry and I do as far as our marriage plan is concerned. And as far as a business plan, I work with multiple coaches, and at different times, depending on what I need to accomplish. My hyper focus right now is my team. So I'm doing very deliberate things within my organization to make sure that they're getting the coaching and the mentoring that they need. I also want to ask you, what is the radical thing that you could be doing different, right? So there's a scale of change, and sometimes we make small changes, but I want you to think about radical changes. What is the big thing that you want? Because a lot of times we limit our potential because we're staying down here and we're hovering. Remember, because I just talked about that, people are afraid of making a mistake. People are afraid of failure more often than not, and that's why we're not doing the things that we could be or want to be doing. It has nothing to do with any of those other gaps that I talked about or those limiting beliefs that I talked about. It has everything to do with your fear of failure. So I want you to hashtag replay if you're watching this on a replay. If there's anything that stuck with you today that you want to share, let me know. What are some other things that I do as far as personal self-growth is concerned? I know the one thing that's most important is not only absorbing content, absorbing information, learning and growing, because I could be a perpetual student the rest of my life, but it's in the ability to teach it to other people that it becomes application for me. It's the ability to speak and train and coach and mentor people using the resources and the tools that I understand. That's where I grow the most. So diving and taking a deep dive back into a lot of this that I know, that I speak on, that I used to train on, and being able to share it with you, and I'm gracious. It has been the most rewarding couple weeks of, honestly, of my past several years, because I can pour out, but I'm gaining so much. I'm gaining so much from the feedback that's coming in from you. So I challenge you, what you learn, share it with other people, because it's the greatest way for it to take part in your life. It's the greatest way to implement into your life. I am a constant student of reading. I read on average, depending on the week, 1 to 2 books a week. I'm constantly pouring in. What are some other things I do as far as personal growth is concerned? I don't watch TV. I might take a movie marathon with the kids for a weekend, or Brooke might be watching American Idol or something like that, but I don't watch TV. It's something that I sacrifice for time for me, for prayer, for meditation, for reading, for growth, for pouring out, right? Some other things that I do, I make a commitment for wellness. So my wellness is committed to 5 days a week that I'm moving my body somehow, some way. I make a commitment every single morning to start in a space of gratitude where it's 20 minutes unplugged. Some other things that I do for personal growth is my phone, and those that are closest to me know this, except for my favorites, which are my kids and my husband and my immediate family. My phone is on Do Not Disturb from 8 o'clock at night to 10 o'clock in the morning. So I only answer calls that I have scheduled, or when I'm looking for something like a text or a call that I'm anticipating. My phone doesn't come off Do Not Disturb because those hours to me are precious. They're precious family hours, they're precious growth hours, they're precious mentoring and coaching hours. So I've created discipline in my life in order to make space for the things that are most important to me, and that is my faith, my family, and my business, my clients. Everything else will follow as long as those things are in alignment. So I challenge you to find your alignment. I attend conferences, at least 2 conferences a year. What are the things that I'm doing to help create and cultivate that in my family? Larry attends conferences we attend conferences together, I should say. They're incredible opportunities for growth for us, not only personally, professionally, but in our business. I am taking Luke to a conference coming to Chicago April 26th. My 16-year-old son is going with me to an event that Tony Robbins will be speaking at and Kevin O'Leary will be speaking at, because I want to surround him and fill his mind with opportunities of growth and not just the status quo that society dictates that we need to follow. I am constantly just diving and taking a deep dive in. I have my business blueprint laid out for the next 12 months of what that looks like, what my goals look like. I know how many people on a monthly basis I need to be speaking to. I know how many conversations, appointments, phone calls, meetings that I need to be hosting. I know how many leaders that I need to be developing in my organization from a business standpoint. Are your plans written out for marriage? Are you making sure that you have a date night every week? Are you attending at least quarterly some kind of event with your spouse? Are you taking a weekend quarterly away and unplugging from screens, from kids, from business? And are you cultivating your relationships, right? Are you doing ministry retreats? Are you staying aligned and very close to people that are doing, accomplishing, or creating the types of relationships that you want? That's something so important to me. If I don't feel in alignment with people, right? You remember, you are the product of the 5 closest people you surround yourself with, right? So if the people that I'm spending the majority of my time with from a mentoring aspect aren't in alignment with me, if my energy does not feel good, if the alignment isn't faith and family first, then I need to find a new alignment. That's why I was very deliberate about the coaches and mentors that I selected in my life. I'm very deliberate about the people that I listen and follow. So I'm going to challenge you, whatever it is that you want to change. Remember, the most important, crucial thing here to remember is you have to be intentional. You have to be very deliberate. And I can't emphasize that enough. As we continue on, I'm going to share a lot of other ways that you can grow personally and a lot more about this self-development content. Hope you're having a great day, everyone. It is Tuesday, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.